Welcome all to Let's Get It, where we attack today's local or national hottest sports topics. I'm your host, Randy Dutkin, and let's get after it.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Let's Get It. I'm your host, Randy Dutkin, along with my co-host, Marcus Bullock and Jason Bryce, coming to you on a Sunday morning. A little chilly out there for some of us, but some of us think it's a beautiful morning. As you can see, I'm the only one who thinks it's a beautiful morning today. But we got a great show on tap. We're going to be joined shortly by Coach Gene Allen from Atlantic City High School boys basketball. Going to get into our conversation after that. I have a lot going on. Going to talk about the situation in the NFL with Brian Flores. He's going to talk about the updated talk of James Harden. A little bit more talk, but as usual, before we get into anything at all, I'm going to check in with everyone. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. All is good. Been a busy weekend. We had the showcase going on at Holy Cross. I've been back and forth from there a bunch. Game later today, but it's been a good weekend, fun weekend, a lot of basketball, and it's been cold, so being in the gym I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's been an awesome. So, how many games has there been hosted over at the tournament today?
We had three on Friday. We had 4 today, and yesterday I believe was 7.
Wow,
I think 7. Yeah,
and then you guys got a game today at 4 o'clock.
We play at 4 o'clock. We play the last game. Yep.
All right. Close it out with a bang. And Jay, you've been fortunate enough to be the witness to this tournament, doing the play-by-play. So, what's your experience been this weekend?
Oh man, listen, I'm having the time of my life. So, what I'm saying? It's all good. Saw some great games. It's a different level than when you watch it from the stands and then you watch it as a announcer, what I'm saying? Because you'll have your favorites, what I'm saying? Right. And I really wanted Egg Harbor Township to win that game. I don't know why, what I'm saying? But you just it's a different level of perspective or whatever. So, but having the time of my life, I agree with you, Coach. It's definitely cold out there, but it's hot as I don't know what in that gym.
Right?
And I'm going to say this for all those out there that sit behind the desk. If I had the money, I would buy each one a padded seat. When I tell you that is so painful.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter. You can try to sit like this. You can go like this. I don't care what you do. Your ass is hurting. Yes. It's just that simple.
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
Especially because you've been in that spot for, 7 games in a row.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. But at the same time, when you start calling it, and especially when the game is close, even though I wanted Egg Harbor Township to win, and not because I don't like Moorestown, because there's some good kids on Moorestown, man. And shout out to Lamar Davis.
Lamar Davis, man.
Lamar Davis, he has improved his game.
Unbelievably.
You know what I'm saying?
He went from a kid who they would put in just to play a little defense, needed a rebound, to now he's starting. He's starting and making big shots.
And he had an incredible move.
Oh yeah,
that he did some. I don't know. I call it the triple Lindy or something. I don't know if y'all remember back to school with Rodney Dangerfield, right? The triple Lindy.
You sound like you're watching some of the Olympic ice skating.
I'm just saying, man. Yo, shout out to Lamar Davis, though. But they got a very good team, though.
Yeah.
But just having a good time, man. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, I told some of my friends and I was supposed to go hang out with some board members and whatnot. I was like, listen, anytime I get a chance to do some public address announcing, I drop everything. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know, I just enjoy it. I really do. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you, Coach, for, hooking that up and you know what I'm saying, and whatever like that. So I appreciate that, man. But doing well, though. Doing good, man. Cold, though, bro.
It is cold.
Hey, listen, I'm running my pipes, man. I'm running so I don't have.
Well, how's the pipe situation going?
Oh yeah, well we took that little heater that's over there now, and we put it up there, and it was good. And about an hour after we finished the show last week, everything was good to go.
Good.
So now I just make sure, when these cold nights, because even though last night was a little warmer than the night before.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just glad to see the snow going. There's nothing worse than leftover snow. It's sad, right?
Nasty.
It's all dirty.
Yes.
And then remember that little, what's up with that pile that no matter how hot it gets, it just never melts.
It's at the end of my driveway on the left side right now.
It just never melts.
Going anywhere.
Right. It's like dollar store cheese. You know Randy.
Well, I do. Not anymore. I used to know.
Right.
Well.
But I'm doing well, though,
Okay,
man.
Mr.
I'm doing well.
$2.13 of chicken salad. You ever see someone go in there and ask for $2.13 of chicken salad?
No, he see, no disrespect to you. It's just, listen, I was ghetto at one time. Man, you know what I'm saying? So we had spice ham and everything.
I never
man.
listen.
And $2 worth of American cheese, bro. Come on.
Some liverwurst.
No, we wasn't
liverwurst?
buying liverwurst.
Oh,
Man. My grandfather and them bought liverwurst.
Oh man, we used to love some liverwurst.
Yeah. Did you have to peel it off? You had to peel the outer ring?
It was weird. Yeah.
The film on it.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. And then there was the salami that would have the red ring around it too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but you know, it was always interesting. But we got a lot going on. Like I said, we're gonna be having Coach come on and join us in just a minute for a good interview for a little bit. I know that we have. Coach is going to be joining us now. Just grab my headphones.
That's all right. I heard the biggest thing. What did this dude Opal told me? Something. I said wingit.com, and she said you're a hot. She told me I was a hot dot. She said I'm a hotmess.org. That's what she said.
Hey, good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning, man. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, not too many issues with technology. Logged right on. No problems at all.
You don't know what went on behind the scenes, man.
Well, listen, we appreciate taking a few minutes to talk with us this morning. Once again, we are joined by Coach Eugene Allen from the Atlantic City Boys Basketball. Coach, I know we just wanted to get into a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your coaching career. I know you got a game coming up in a little bit this afternoon. So just kind of tell us that you've had a long coaching history, a lot of success, a lot of kids you've impacted in your life. Tell us about your coaching career and your coaching philosophy.
Well, keeping it real, I started off as in the summer leagues as a kid. In college, I always wanted to coach because I couldn't play that well, but I always wanted to coach. And so every summer I would coach rec ball in our summer leagues, and it only increased my passion. So what really triggered it once I became a teacher, Highland beat Atlantic City at Atlantic City in a Group 4 South Jersey final. I'm like, yo, man, I'm a diehard fan. I really, really would like an opportunity to become the head coach. And that following year, rest in peace, Mo Griffin got terminated and the job was open. And so I applied, and with some help from our current mayor now, Marty Small, and some community backing, I was able to get the job. Once I got the job, I always knew the style that I wanted to play. I wanted our style to resemble Coach Hurley's style. I had seen Coach at Cherry Hill East Classic a couple of times, and then some other venues, and I knew that I wanted to play a pressing, hard-nosed style. And so right after I got the job, the next thing I did was I reached out to Coach Hurley, and I started working his summer camps. And I worked the summer camp for 6 straight summers. And I was doing that because I wanted to pick his brain at the same time and just see how he operated, and then try to take bits and pieces from that and then implement that into our program. And through that, we've had some success.
That's awesome. So, of that, what is the philosophy that you bring to the court as a head coach?
Well, my philosophy is, look, I want us to play defense. I think defense is the most overrated aspect of basketball. Everybody now wants to do all this N1 hot sauce BS and play AAU style. And my thing is, look, it's going to be nice that you're not going to make shots, but if we defend, I think we can be in every game. Now I got to keep it 100. My philosophy may be becoming antiquated and outdated now. But with all these kids, they just want to get up and down the floor, and I'm struggling with that for real because as you can see, I'm a dinosaur, man. So I really believe in defense travels, and
right.
So that's mainly it. We want to I've never had like a team. I had one team that could really score. The rest of my teams, we don't score a lot, but we just guard the hell out you and we wear you down. So that's basically the philosophy. We try to be in top flight shape, and we just try to get into you, and we just try to wear you down.
No, and that's, you're kind of right though. The mentality now, like you said, you see, up and down the court, wanting to be run and gun offense all day. Marcus, you have a follow up for Coach as far as his philosophy.
Absolutely. So going back to what you said about the Highland Atlantic City game, that was my year. I was a senior at Cherry Hill East, and we were the number 2 or 3 seed, something like that. And Atlantic City was a lower seed. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but for some reason, I don't know how you guys do it down there. We had to come to Atlantic City to play. There was a neutral game.
Let me give you a brief story. Well, we used to host the South Jersey final.
Yeah.
And then, Marcus, when I got the job, there was a particular guy. I'm not going to name names, but there was a particular guy who felt like you felt. Why is Atlantic City, if they're fortunate enough to make it to the final, it's always at their place, regardless of if, they're the higher or lower seed.
Right.
And then he effectively, what he did was that year we were a 2 seed and they were a 1 seed, but it was at Atlantic City. Right. So he made us sit on the visitors bench.
That's right.
And we played them. Now, we put some sport on that ass. But from that point forward, they changed the rules, and I think Group 4 is the only group now that it plays a home game at the higher seed.
Right.
I think all the rest of the places play at a neutral site.
Right.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's the way that goes.
So Coach, let me ask you this: I coach now under Coach Valori, and I've been privileged enough to see you two go at it in a couple scrimmages. And if we, I was talking to Coach Valori, we need to put those on TV because I think you could sell a lot of money watching you two run scrimmages. First of all, if you're at a Gene Allen, John Valori scrimmage, it's going to be about 3 hours. Okay, you're going to be there for a while, and it's not a game. You're not watching a basketball game. You're watching 2 coaches coach their teams, and I mean that in the most positive way there is. And you have a way of communicating with your players that most coaches cannot do these days, and a lot of players don't respond to that in the way you get into them through the way that I've seen you over the last couple of years do it. How have you been able to, in the past, that's how coaches coached and it was accepted. And nowadays it's not really like that. How have you been able to continue to be yourself and still keep the kids, having your back as much as you do?
First of all, I want to thank you for that. And Coach Valori is a wonderful dude. When I first started, he allowed us to come up and play in the summer league up at Cherry Hill East. And I think it really helped and bolstered the program. And I'll forever be grateful. But to answer your question, it really starts, like I get to know these kids like in the 7th and 8th grade and build relationships. What I've found is that kids really do want discipline. But they first got to trust you. And I've been able to build that trust, Marcus, but I got to be honest with you. It's not as easy as it once was because, like you said, a lot of kids don't respond positively to that. And so it's been a challenge. But I think I've built up enough of a resume that the kids know if they're going to play for Atlantic City. I have changed some, but I haven't changed that much that I still don't get into them. I try to get into them now more so in practice than in actual games.
Right.
But I'm not the most patient guy either. So there's times that I get into them in games as well.
I hear you. So tell us about your team you have this year. I know you guys are a little young, and it's not the Atlantic City teams of the past, but I know you're working them the same way, and just highlight some of what you got going on now.
Yeah, this is true, man. Like a lot of urban districts, the pandemic just really, really decimated us. There's 7 kids who are ineligible, and it's due to, the virtual learning aspect of it.
Right.
I wasn't able to keep my thumb on them, and they got away from it. And they're one's a senior, but the others are sophomores. So I really didn't even know, I really didn't even get a chance to build a relationship with those guys. And so this has been the most trying season because, you try to stay positive, you try to teach, I'm studying more film than I've ever have to try to find ways to make us better. Like you said, we young. I'm playing like 3 freshmen right now. And it's been tough, but it's been rewarding. The good thing is I got some kids like who are really academically strong, so they're going to move on from an academic standpoint. They're going to college. And then I have some freshmen that I think eventually will wind up being some good players. And we got a couple guys coming in next year that's going to be good that'll be transferred. So I think the program will be back. But this year, it's been a learning experience for me.
Good, cool.
So go ahead, Jay. What you got for Coach?
No, hey, how you doing, Coach Allen? I actually admire that type of style. It could be because now, I guess, now I'm not a kid no more. I'm considered like the old head now to these young brothers. But I will say that I enjoy that because I do think, and I'm a counselor, guidance counselor, and I just think discipline is necessary. It could be painful, but it's necessary to grow. So when you don't have discipline, and then you don't have discipline amongst your players, right? So then you actually do more damage to the child than you enter the team, because now let's just say there's a and I get what you're saying though, Coach Allen, because some kids nowadays, times are different, right? So those kids don't have the resiliency, and they're being raised and trained differently now. So they're very, in layman's terms, they're very emotional now, man. You know what I'm saying? They can't handle the criticism, right? So, but I think that you actually could destroy a team and alienate kids when you don't put that discipline in. So I admire your style, though, Coach Allen.
And I appreciate that. I try to tell them, look, man, when you get a job, and you're required to have something done by the end of the day, and it's not done, my man ain't trying to hear my bad. He ain't trying to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Or you go on to college, and now you're playing for a dude's livelihood. Right. He ain't trying to hear it. Yo, I know that I should have been in weak side help, but I wasn't there. He ain't trying to hear that. So what I tried to do is I tried to actually make the two blend in together. Like, yo, this is going to be required of you. I don't care if you go in the military. I don't care if you go in a casino or you go on to college. There's certain requirements that you're going to have to meet. And the only way you can meet them is through discipline. When you play the teams like the Shawnees and the Camden Catholics and the Cherry Hill East, if you're not disciplined, you're going to lose, And, so I try to instill the discipline. Like you said, it's a different time. And I'm really, I have a 12-year-old and I stay on his butt, man. And I know he be looking at me like I'm crazy, but I feel as though if I give him the discipline, that you know what I'm saying? I think that's 70%, 80% of the game, Right. I wish we could go back to certain things, because I'm a real old head and
well, I don't know, Coach.
I agree with you.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not calling you no old head, coach. I'm
No,
gonna call you just.
I am. I'm good with that.
Yo, 'cause listen, you just told me you had a 12-year-old. Come on now, you know what I'm saying? But no, listen, yeah, it's good stuff. I just appreciate old school coaches. I just think that is necessary. My question to you, I mean, you spoke about that, and a lot of districts in that, and I'm not going to say poor, I'm just going to say low socioeconomic, communities and stuff. They did suffer tremendously during the pandemic, particularly academically, right? And, some districts, most districts didn't put no provisions in to, kind of help, kind of mitigate those circumstances, which is unfortunate, right? And the outlook of it is that, you'll have some people that say, oh, well, no, they got to be held accountable. But then the other hand is that, well, you don't know what they're dealing with. Right. You don't know what their life circumstances are. Right. So, I'm sad to hear that you lost some players just because they weren't successful during virtual learning. They didn't have those 30 credits. So I'm sad to hear that. Let me ask you, how has just coaching in the district, how has it been? I'm sure it's tough to navigate a lot. I'm sure it is. How has it been?
It's been very tough. It's been very tough. Some of the reasons that you mentioned, some of the reasons that your co-hosts have mentioned, and then just the way, people look at the presentation. Now, I will admit, sometime when I'm looking at film, I'll say, "Damn, oh, you really going in," but they don't see, how after practice we laugh and joke and all that kind of stuff, and them kids know they can call me at 2 a.m. if they jammed, and I'm gonna do everything I can for them, and so people really don't know. If you're an outsider, it is it's very tough. It is very tough because you want the best for these kids, and sometimes people don't see that side of it, which makes, sometimes as a coach, I'm on eggshells. I if I'm really being honest, you know what I'm saying? Because I just don't want it to be misinterpreted that, I'm passionate and I'm rooting for these dudes, but I also know I need to push them because sometimes they don't see what I see in themselves. And the only way to get it is to make them feel uncomfortable so that they can be successful.
Right.
And that can be misconstrued, to be honest with you. It could be misconstrued. And I think the perfect analogy is, and I've heard it several times this week, just in conversation I've been having with people, and it's definitely important to just bring that up right now. It's like that. You remember the Titans? Yeah. And you had, what was the running back? What was the running back name? Petey. Right? So you had, it was two different styles of how to deal with Petey. Right. You know what I'm saying? One thought it should be this way. Another one thought this should be this way. But overall, the way that it was being was to set him up for success in the real world, according to his perspective and his outlook. So, you know what I mean? So sometimes it can be misconstrued, but, it's always in the right direction. I just like I said, and that was more of I'll probably have some more questions, but this is more of just a kudos to you doing the great work that you're doing. At least from my perspective, like that's what I have for you. How long are you an Atlantic City lifer?
No. I'm from West Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
My mom is originally from Atlantic City, and when it got tight, my mom just bulldozed my dad and said, "Look, we getting up out of Philly, and coming back down here." And I went to high school down here, and so I although I love me some Philly, I just say, look, man, I'm from Atlantic City at this point.
No, it's so good. Listen, and I respect you because you're actually from Philly. So if you root for the Eagles or whatever, I'll say, hey, listen, I respect that because you're from Philly, But I do want to, I probably even want to reach out to you, maybe if that's okay with you, just because Atlantic City has always been an area that I just really want to, you just know more about. I just want to know what life was before the casino, because sometimes I feel like, did the casinos do this irreparable harm to Atlantic City? But that's in a different conversation, a different regard. You know what I mean?
Well, we can definitely
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Well, you did today. You know, Coach. There's one thing too I want to bring up. I know you have a game today, so you know your time is limited. One of the questions we've been asking all the coaches is the question of having captains on your team.
Oh yeah.
And if you do name captains, and what is the process and expectations to naming a captain and for your players to become a captain?
You know, I let the kids pick the captains. Because I think that works best for me. But what's required is, you know, the leadership. I don't want you to be the last dude to come to practice. I don't want you to, you know, I definitely won't let nobody else beat up on another kid like that. You know, when I say beat up, I mean verbally. You know what I'm saying? But I also want them to take charge as well. You know, I never forget we were playing Cherry Hill East. I think it was 2013 or 2012. And boy, it was the greatest atmosphere ever. When we got there, it was already 2,000 kids and parents, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And we jumped out to a early lead, but Cherry Hill kept fighting and kept fighting. Chopped the lead down to like 5 points, and the crowd was going absolutely bonkers. I called a timeout, and my captain, I had a freshman on the floor at the time. They didn't run the play right, and the captain just told him, "Look, you're a freshman. Shut up." And I just turned around and I walked away from the timeout because I knew that he had it. And so that's what I look for in my kids. I just look for somebody who has some mental toughness and who's willing to step out and lead. So that's why I let the kids choose it every year. And I never had a problem with their choice either.
No, that's good. Every coach we've had on has a different perspective. I like that a lot. So, Coach, you have more basketball-related questions? Because if not, I have another question for coaches. I know he is a diehard Philly fan.
I got a quick one.
Well, I'm a diehard Eagles fan. I don't like the Phillies. I don't the Flyers. I don't care too much for, but I'm a season ticket holder, so I'm a diehard Eagles fan.
I got a quick one for you. Piggybacking off of the captain thing, you've had many very talented players that could easily have been seen as the best player on those individual teams. How do you go about treating guys that may stand out from the team a little bit more? How do you treat them? Do you give them different rules, or is it everybody's the same? How do you go about that? And I know obviously every player is individual. You got to treat them based on what they can handle. But what's kind of your overall philosophy on that?
Well, I did a lot of reading. John Wooden, John Thompson, John Chaney. I don't think you treat them all even. The better players, I treat them a little differently. However, I'm not going to compromise my principles for any player. I've kept players out of South Jersey finals. One year I had a player that was absolutely phenomenal, but he didn't want to buy into the team chemistry type of thing, so I released him. And we made it to the state finals that year. And I know, with his input, I think we would have maybe won that game.
Right.
But I wasn't willing to ruin a total team chemistry for one individual. Yep. And I think, where I get really upset, like when I go see the youth sports, is that I see a lot of coaches willing to sacrifice for a W. And I have a problem with that. I don't think anybody cares about who won an 8th grade game on a Tuesday night. And you know what I mean? When there's bigger fish to fry here, and it bothered me to the point, like I really don't go to youth games anymore because it's all about winning instead of teaching kids the importance of working as a team, of being academically solid, things of that nature that I think a lot of our kids are really missing right now.
But see, and that's why I say that, individuals such as yourself, other coaches that you mentioned Coach Valori. That's why I think the game is still needed, because you guys have to still continue to, put your message out there. I always tell younger kids, that, when you don't listen to older people, it's like you're playing yourself, because they're your cheat sheet to life. But those kids, they don't really understand that. So I appreciate the older coaches, because it's wisdom behind it. You know what I'm saying? And you just can never go wrong with wisdom. And I just want to say, FYI, listen, I don't blame you for not watching the Phillies, because they're not that good. And I totally respect you being an Eagle fan, because you are from West Philadelphia.
This guy. Listen, Coach, I know you only got a couple minutes. So I want to get your thoughts. And like I said, I know what I told you. As an Eagles fan, what's your thoughts on the season and where they're at moving forward?
Well, you know what? I got to keep it real. When they hired Sirianni, I was like, yo, who is this cat? I did do a little research. And then when we started off, 2-4, 2-5, I was like, yo. But he turned it around, and I think his philosophy, the players bought into it. I like where we're going. I think this draft is very, very critical, though. Very critical. I've been looking at, which I rarely do, but I've been looking at some of the projections of some of the draft picks. I really honed in on Bucky Brooks. If they draft like he suggests, I really think it could bolster the offense. I'm a big Jalen Hurts fan. Now, does he need to improve with his accuracy? Yes, but I think just overall, I think he's good enough to lead them. I'm not going to say a Super Bowl, but I'm so happy that we won one during my lifetime. I didn't think that was going to happen either. Mm-hmm. But I do think he can lead him to something special. I really do.
Shout out Howie Roseman. No, I'm serious. No, because
absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, come on.
Big time. Big time Howie Roseman dude, man. The dude's been on fire lately. He's been on fire.
On fire with what?
Yo, listen. Look, we all know. Look. See, listen, I'm going to be honest. I think the Philadelphia fan is an absolute nut. If you think he's going to hit.
Agree. That's stating obvious.
That is an obvious.
Yeah. If you think you can hit on every draft pick, that's nobody hits on every draft pick.
Agree.
Arcega-Whiteside, sure, a bust. Okay, if that's, I don't believe it's a bust per se, because to reach the NFL, that's phenomenal. Jalen Reagor, same thing. Phenomenal.
Hold on, coach.
Go ahead.
I agree. They're drafting.
I'm gonna stay on for this. Go ahead.
So listen, nobody in the NFL, and this is like what Kwame Brown said.
That's right.
Nobody in the NFL is a bust because you made it to the NFL. You can play. Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. But don't you think when you have a guy like, and let's just go to Jalen Reagor. You take a guy like Jalen Reagor, when everybody else in the world, everybody else in the world knows that Justin Jefferson is the better player, is going to be the better player, and obviously has shown to be the better player. When you make picks like that, that's a problem. And I think he's done that too often.
Can I address that Justin Jefferson thing?
Yeah, for sure.
The Justin Jefferson pick, you're right. But if go back, because I did do this, go back and look at him when he played against Alabama, and he got locked up in that game, and the other receiver from the other side went off.
Jamar Chase.
Chase went off, right. Now, but Chase wasn't in the draft at that time, so Jefferson was the guy, and then the DB kind of locked him up. Now, was that a reach by Howie? Absolutely. No, I can't even. We see what Jefferson's doing, but my thing is, what about all these other dudes he's done right by? Edwards, Dickerson, Malata, and we can go on and on. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that sticks out like a sore thumb, but he got some other stuff here. We got to look at what he's done and compare it.
And I I agree.
Goodness.
Here's what I agree with.
Oh my goodness.
Here's what I agree with you on, Coach. And here's what I agree. I agree when it gets later in the draft and he starts making picks, I think he does a good job. I think in free agency, I think he does a good job. I think it's early in the draft which is why I'm worried about this year because we have 3 first-round picks. I think that's when he gets cute and tries to be the smart, tries to outsmart everybody. So that's what I get worried about.
I can't argue that. I can't defend that because you're right. You're right. But the thing is like you said, from the third round on, he's absolutely spot on.
And I'm fine with it. But we have 3 in the first round. That's going to change our franchise. The first round, we can't. And the worst thing, he's going to trade them all and get later picks so that he can be on fire.
Let me just add to the conversation.
I just don't want him to trade for. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't want to trade for Russell Wilson. I don't want to trade for Deshaun. I'd rather keep what we got.
Keep Hurts.
And hopefully, what I've been seeing is that in the first round, they're talking about getting a lineman, which I think we need.
I agree.
The second round, the second pick, they're talking about getting a wide receiver from Arkansas. Now, I've been watching this dude. This dude is like Debo Sanders. He's 6'3". He's 225. He runs a 4.3 40. And he can catch. He has big hands. He got a great catch radius. So if they get him, and then they're talking about getting the defensive end from Florida State, if they just follow that blueprint, I think you'll be happy.
I think I want Coach in the draft room. I'll tell you that.
I'm fine with that.
Everything. When you're struggling like we are, I gotta find some shit to keep me busy, man.
Listen. I listen again. I came on earlier and I said that I admire you for your coaching acumen, XYZ. But I'm giving you some more kudos because I admire you for your insight.
No,
I've been saying the same thing.
Oh. Hey, same thing. Can I tell you one thing? Hold on, Coach.
I can't say nothing now.
No, hold on. Just
I'm being silenced now.
Just so you know, Jason is not an Eagles fan.
No, I think he's in New York. Is he from New York?
Absolutely. Listen, I've become an Eagles fan just because I like Hurts, and I think Hurts was better than Wentz. And it's almost like just a little banter between me and Randy.
That's over with.
No, it's never over with. But so that's my thing. But I just want to say with Howie Roseman, because again, I think that, he's human. So does he make mistakes? Sure. But has he been successful? Was the reach with getting Mike Vick, did that work out? Yes, it did. The reach with getting the receiver from, what's it, Brandon Marshall? Who was the receiver?
Alshon Jefferson.
My bad. It worked out. Hold on, wait a minute. They worked out. But no, they weren't reaching because he was a behavior problem. He had some issues. Mike Vick had issues.
America has to be a backup quarterback.
But he came in to eventually start. And he knew Donovan was on his way out. He knew that Kevin Carr was going to be a 5-minute starter. So he pushed all the right buttons. And then, Coach Allen said, in his life, he never thought in his lifetime that he would be his team. He would see his team be a Super Bowl championship winning team. And it's not disrespect to you, Coach Allen, because you're a little more seasoned than the rest of us over here, so we could tell. But you've suffered a lot as an Eagles fan.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. I'd say this too. I'd say give him kudos. Landon Dickerson was coming off a major injury. And we still drafted him. And look at him now. Get a man his pride. Give his man his pride.
I do want, Coach. I want you in the board.
Sidney Jones.
Sidney Jones. He didn't work out.
We don't talk about that. We just don't talk about it.
Listen, I guess
what we do. Is that how it works?
Listen, Coach,
We just don't talk about that.
there's a lot.
I'm just wondering what we're allowed to talk about.
You know,
He was a second rounder. He was a second rounder. So
We can't talk about till the third round. My fault.
and third round and on. But listen, Coach. I know that you have. I know you guys got a game today at
I
noon.
do want to ask him a
So,
question.
go ahead,
Please,
go ahead.
Just
Go.
one last question. Do you think that Doug Peterson? Now, listen, Coach, we're batting 1,000 right now. So let's see. We're still here. Do you think? And listen, Marcus is gonna get on me because Marcus listens to language, and I'm gonna change my language for what I originally said. Do you think that Doug Peterson will go down as one of the greatest coaches in Philadelphia Eagle history?
I think Doug Peterson. First, let me say this: Doug Peterson should have never been fired. Should never.
Agreed.
Should have never been fired.
Yeah. See,
I like Doug Peterson for what he did for the organization. I don't think he was there long enough for us to put him. You know, if you really be technical, you're absolutely right. He's one of the greatest coaches, Eagles coaches.
Okay.
But I was a big Buddy Ryan fan and a super duper big Andy Reid guy. You know what I mean? But both of them put in way more time than Doug Peterson. So I would put them two over him. But you know, for what he did in the time that he did it in, he arguably you could say he is the greatest.
And I respect your answer. And listen, I respect everything you're saying. I don't know if I agree a little bit just because he did something that those two guys couldn't do. So
Right.
which is home a chip. But I think that's fair. I think it's very fair. So, it's a pleasure. Hey, listen, come on anytime.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for having me. And I'm gonna definitely be tuning in now because this is some real lively stuff. I love it.
I appreciate that, Coach. I appreciate
All right.
that. Hey, listen, before you go, Marcus.
I got one final question for you. This is a quick one.
Okay.
We're trying to touch as many people in South Jersey in the area or in the community as we can. Who do you think would be a good person for us to have on the show? And with that, we're going to need your help to bring that person on.
Who will be a good person, and he's a sports nut, and but a very informative guy, and it would help you out with the Atlantic City piece. Is Mayor Marty Small, and I can get him on. Y'all let me know. You let me know when, and you'd like to have him, and I'm sure he would come on.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we would love that.
Coach, that's awesome. I will absolutely be in contact with you after the show again. I know
Yes.
Jay wants to touch base with you.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Coach.
Thank
Good
you,
luck
Coach.
today.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We need it. We need it.
Absolutely going to have you back on this show.
Absolutely.
Okay, appreciate you guys. Have a great
All
day.
right, Coach. Take it easy.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Oh, man, this was a great interview that we had with Coach.
Great.
Once again, I mean,
Let's clap him
can we
up.
get the right button? Oh, yeah. Listen, that was just entertainment.
Yes.
That was entertainment.
Yes.
Now you were right, Coach.
He's a character.
It was entertainment, but like you said, with his philosophy, and once again, if you're just tuning in, we just finished up an interview with Coach Gene Allen from Atlantic City Boys Basketball, and go take a look. He joined us pretty much as the show started today. He was just talking about the old school approach, which I think is, and we've talked about it before on here, kind of going by the wayside, and how to address kids and how to address athletes, and and he had some fantastic insight into the Eagles. But once again, thanks to Coach Gene Allen. So definitely check out that interview. And I really enjoyed listening to him. Like you were saying about just before, Jay, about the cheat sheet of life. I felt like when we were listening to Coach Allen, it was like I was getting an education.
No doubt. No doubt.
Absolutely.
Now, were you guys listening to everything he was saying, or just certain portions?
We're listening to everything.
Okay.
We're listening to everything.
Okay. All right. That's good.
Go ahead. Is there a follow up to that?
No. I just wanted to know.
Okay. No, it was. I mean, like I said, it really was. It really was. It was entertaining. Now, one thing I know we wanted to get into a couple of major things we wanted to get into today with the show. I mean, and I really actually wanted to get a chance to ask Coach Allen about this, but I know we didn't get a chance to. I think that the major issue right now we want to talk about is the Brian Flores situation in the NFL. And this most recent situation where he's got the lawsuit against the NFL, right now where we're kind of at with this. And my question is, and I was talking to other people about this yesterday, what is the goal of the lawsuit in your guys' opinion? And do you think that it can actually make a difference and that a change can happen?
So I think the purpose of it is to bring light to situations. You have to bring light to situations. First of all, kudos to Brian Flores for doing that. I was reading a post. A friend of mine, he put a post out there, and it was all along the lines that sometimes you just gotta stand up for what's right. And I totally agree with that, and I think Brian Flores was able to do that, and so shout out to him, seriously, and then also shout out to all the people that haven't spoken up, right? Due to, I would think, is because their financial responsibilities, and I think that we kind of minimize those type of individuals where we're like, oh, well, they're not really standing up, they're not doing nothing, they're just caring about themselves. Negative. No, if you're not speaking up because you have to take care of your family, that's actually to be commended, because you're standing in the face of adversity. You're dealing with something that is wrong, but you're sacrificing your life for your family. So, it's all types of perspectives that you got to look at it from. But some people look at it like, oh, well, you know what? They're not really doing it. They're just, they're just going along with the norm. They're being selfish. Negative. That's not that. So Brian Flores, shout out to him again. He was, I'm not saying that he was in a terrible financial situation, but he was in a more fortunate financial situation for him to be able to do so. So he was able to speak out and bring light to what's going on, because that's wrong. Number two, it's been going on for forever, not just in football, in everything. So I think that it's right for him to sue, because he needs to get rewarded for what he's had to. I mean, think about it. Somebody congratulates you on getting a job before you interview.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then they said, oops, you know what? You know what? That wasn't for you. That was for you. That was for my other dude. You know him too, but that was for my other dude. And you're like, wait a minute. Damn, they already know. So I'm just being brought in just for GP.
To fill a quota.
You know what I'm saying? So now, has he felt that feeling of feeling like a quota? Absolutely he has. But you know what? Thank God that he was in a position to be able to do something about it this time.
No, you're right. And I'm going to go back. So our buddy Mac is watching.
Oh, Mac.
Oh, yeah.
My man, what's up, man?
And he said he always challenged. Now, he put in 511 head coaches have been hired in the 100+ year history of the NFL. 481 or 94% have been white men. He brought up Herm Edwards was fired after taking the Jets to the playoffs 3 times in the 5 years he was there. That apparently wasn't good enough. With Brady in the division. Said Denny Green was coached the Vikings for 10 seasons. He had 9 consecutive winning years in Minnesota with Favre and Barry Sanders in the division. But after his first only losing season in the town, he was fired. That doesn't seem right. Brought up Jim Caldwell. And then he also said 115 justices to sit on the U.S. Supreme Court in our history. 108 of them have been white men, 93.9%. He goes on to say a lot of fantastic things. Now, the other part of it, too, that he said, and this is the one of the part that I was going to bring up, too, was he said Brian Flores will most likely never coach in the NFL ever again.
I agree.
The Rooney Rule in the NFL has great intent, but has always been severely flawed.
I agree.
But that was what I was going to bring up.
I agree. I agree. It's the same thing we were talking about with Jalen Hurts, right? When Jalen Hurts took over for Wentz, if he didn't do well, his career was over to me. Because unfortunately, as a minority, sometimes you only get one opportunity.
One shot. Yeah.
You only get one shot. And that's where I think what Brian Flores is doing here is shedding light on the fact that there's been a good old boys club in society that wants to keep minorities from having a seat at the table.
The
to
NFL, absolutely.
Not just the NFL. No, it's bigger than the NFL. They want to keep minorities from having a seat at the table to bring another perspective. It is so interesting to me how when you have a seat at certain tables, the perspectives that people have about other cultures, it is phenomenal to me. And I'm like, I try to be like, damn, what? Well, that's dumb. Why would you think that, right? But you have to be understanding and say, oh, okay, I get it now. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like when you see somebody that got $1,000 and spend only got $1,000 with no job, and they spend $900 on clothes, and then wonder why am I broke the next week?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So my thing is, listen, again, I'll say it again. I agree with everything that Mac is saying. Shout out, Mac. What's up, man? I agree with everything that he's saying. And I do think, I said to myself, I said that, you know what? I think that he won't ever coach again. It'll almost be something like a Colin Kaepernick type of situation. And the interesting thing is this. The media is so, it's so crazy. There was some African-American hires right after he made his announcement. So that's all strategic by teams to say, oh, you know what? Listen, let's hire one now.
Right. They did that.
We got to hire one now. So, it just mitigates some things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know there was.
It's ridiculous. You have some people say, well, you can't never talk about that things are not equal because you had not one, but now you've had two. We had one black president, one female vice president. So you can't complain about there's lack of diversity, whatever. Damn, we're talking about 1 million or 2.
Well, it is. And then,
like, damn.
It is. Look at the percentages that it is. I mean, I thought the interesting thing was that, and you know what, Marcus, let me get your thoughts on this because I know we've been.
Well, no, it's, and I agree with what you guys are saying. It's I guess the troubling part to me is Jay, like you said, there's been plenty of guys before this that haven't said anything or stepped up to do it. But I think a lot of that is because there's no proof to it. It's always my word against yours. And just like the thing with what he's going on with Stephen Ross, who said, I'll give you $100,000 for every game you lose. That's just my word against yours. And Brian Flores is never going to win that argument. But now when you have that text message from Belichick, now it's something substantial. Now that will open people's eyes to see, how what's really going on. It's funny. I was picking up my daughter yesterday. I'm not even gonna say from where, but and I'm sitting there waiting for her, and there's some guys behind me talking about the situation. And the guy's like, I just don't understand why he would throw away his coaching career over this. And he's never gonna coach in the league again. He's throwing away so much money. And the other guy goes, well, he's gonna get some kind of settlement for that, so that'll make up for it. And I'm like,
see,
right. What? And I knew the guys, but like I didn't like.
Yeah, you just gotta shake your head.
Like, what are we like? Are you kidding me?
Right.
Like that's where you went with this.
Right.
Like, so it's just and just things like that just show how far and last year we were having conversations about social injustice and all that, and it just shows how still far away we are with certain things. And like you said, Randy, the Rooney Rule is meant to be a good thing. It's just not. It's not being applied
the way it's supposed to be
with the intention
it's and you'll see over time, and that's why I said that you gotta have, because the Rooney Rule, I can guarantee you that was a rule made up by the Good Old Boys Club. Right, there was nobody there in the room that said, hey, listen, this is what it is, because if there was, then you could see that individuals are good at throwing up a smoke screen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you could tell when you're getting, as I say, the banana in the tailpipe. And that's an old from Beverly Hills Cop, Eddie Murphy, Axel Foley reference.
Right.
The banana in the tailpipe, the smoke screen. That, oh, yeah, well, you know what? Listen, there was a problem. I tell you what, let's just make a rule. And that will get her done. That will get her done. I'm serious though.
No, and that was
it's a whole lot of smoke screens.
And that was what I said yesterday, though, too. Is I said to the guys that I was talking to, and I brought this up as a white fan, right? Talking to two black guys about the situation, right? And in any kind of situation, bring us up. And I mean, I don't mind having the conversations, and but I said to them, don't you think, as a fan, that the Rooney Rule in itself is almost just a like you said, a smoke screen? And I said, don't you feel like that's a slap in the face also? Like, we'll just we'll bring one of your guys in to appease you. I said, I feel like the Rooney Rule was racist in itself in a way. Like, we'll just shut them up by saying this.
I agree with that, but I agree 100% because of the way that it is applied by, like what Jay said, the good old boys club. I think the only thing that it does is it allows individuals to come in and kind of wow you, like, oh, we weren't expecting that from him. And then now that same individual might have his foot in the door. Yeah. Or where he wouldn't have gotten an interview before. Now he got the token interview, but then he impressed. So now he may have an actual shot at it.
Right.
So I think that's the only positive thing that really comes out of it.
And here was my thought process too. Like I said, I mean, I think, like, obviously, when people say, and we talk about livelihood and whatnot, and it says, okay, well, how can change really be made in this situation? And a lot of it is going to fall, and this is what is a hard kind of bridge to cross, is it falls on the players. As far as the players to be reacting, doing whatever they need to do. So my buddy said, I just wanted to explain on that more, because Phil says that's the I have black friends mentality. So
what's the I have black friends mentality?
That's what Phil's saying. So I want him to just elaborate more. He's commenting on the show right now. Right. But I just want to finish my thought was, we talk about how's the change going to be, and the players, are there. It's not going to hit the owners until it hits them in the pockets. That's what they're going to, in my opinion, which is not going to happen. So even if they go back and, we were, and then they say, oh, we're going to, do an amendment to the Rooney Rule. We're going to say we're going to do this or that. What?
The issue is here.
Go ahead.
Not to cut you. I'm going to tell you what the issue is. The issue is that, they know, I mean, you have athletes, right? So the majority of the NFL is made up of what? African-American athletes. Is that fair to say?
It's like 58, 60%, something like that.
60%. Okay. So if those athletes decided, okay, I didn't want to play anymore, then of course, then there will be a shift. But then those said athletes would then have to find another career.
Right.
And I think that, I don't know if they're willing to do that.
You don't blame them.
Well, what do you?
I mean, financially.
Right, but see, and there's no disrespect to you, Randy, because again, it's just a perspective that, I'm saying that you have that maybe I don't understand and I have that you don't understand. But when you say it's always been good for, say, the masses to throw money at things.
Right.
So when you say, well, I don't blame them, because we're money driven. But not everybody's money driven, right? Is what I'm saying. So my thing is that if those said athletes, that 60% say, you know what, F football, but I could still make money somewhere else, then you know what? I bet you the NFL will change. But the NFL says, well, you know what? I know that if we throw money at them, they'll come around.
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying? So, it's I hate to say it, but it's almost like modern day slavery a little bit. I hate to say that, but it's the truth, though. And to a certain extent, it is, especially when it comes to the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The NBA is a little different.
Right.
Because I think the players have a little more control.
Yeah.
And if NFL always go
back to the Houston Texans.
Do not want
do you remember
NFL. I'm sorry. The NFL doesn't want any of their players acting as if
to have that power.
To have that power like the NBA. Right. They're not doing that.
Right.
So that's what he said. Just to follow up on what Phil said, he said that the I have black friends mentality is based on what was said earlier about the people who think, oh, we have a black president, so things must be.
Oh
equal
yeah,
now.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. It's throwing. Yeah, correction. You're right, Phil. It's throwing the smoke screen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the smoke screen sometimes is the money.
Right.
It's the money. You know what I'm saying? But then you put. That's what I'm saying. It's such a ill dynamic. That's why I say that education is critical for minorities. Is critical because to me, that's an evening of the playing field. That means I don't have to battle you out in the street. I don't got to fight you. I don't got to do anything. I can battle you with my mind and my voice.
Right, and you said, I mean, you go back to it, and I hate to say it, but I mean, you brought it up. I mean, because you're having these conversations, there's lines that not to cross. You said about it being modern day slavery in a way, and you remember when the Houston Texans owner said we can't have the inmates running the asylum. Mm-hmm. So I mean, you're right. So that really is the mentality of the owners.
But but that's in baseball too. Because I was thinking about, I never knew. When I was a kid, I liked baseball, right? And I used to like the Reds a little bit because they had Eric Davis and stuff like that. They were pretty good, right? I didn't know that owner was a pure D racist. Her name was Margie Schott or something.
Oh, Margie Schottenheimer.
Yes, pure D racist.
Blatant.
But she had black people playing for her.
Oh yeah.
Because individuals that are in those type of positions have to make a decision. Do I hold out and do what's right? Or do I feed my family? Which is also right.
Right, and it's a hard decision.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
a hard decision because just like Kaepernick did what he did when she thought was right, which I'm fine with and
Sure.
I agree with, but nothing changed.
No.
So like he got his voice and people heard him and all that, but nothing's changed because it's one guy. And that's the problem I think the players have is if I do this,
Right.
it's just nothing's going to change. It's going to take all of us to do
Right.
this for it to change.
Right. And they're like, hey, listen, if I do this, nothing's going to change. But there is one thing going to change.
Right.
And that's my money.
Right.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
it
'Cause
can't
that's
just
going to
be-
change.
It can't be one guy. It can't be two guys. It's got to
be a collective.
It's got to be
It's got to be a collective, and that hurts.
Yeah.
But again, that's all part of the strategy. It's all part of the plan. But see, when you have education and you can see, oh, you know what? Oh, you know what? I've been looking at this foolishly. See, I've been looking at it from like here, one step ahead.
Right.
But when I start thinking about it 18 steps ahead, that changes things. It's very strategic, very strategic. That was the Rooney Rule. Very strategic. And any other task force that they tried to implement or come up with, or people tried to say, oh, well, you know what, listen, yeah, I want to do a task force. No, you don't.
Right.
No, you don't. Because if you did, you wouldn't have the problem.
And it's just
You know what I'm saying? How do you have the problem, but now all of a sudden, because somebody brings it to light, now all of a sudden we're going to do a task force. Wait a minute. You had the problem before somebody said some shit.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I just wanted to follow up with Phil because he was talked about, and me and him talk about all the time. He's a diehard Browns fan, by the way. So if you're a Browns fan, Yeah,
that's all right.
and he's a Giants fan too. So
then let's go, Phil.
But so he said, he talked about too. It is why I believe Hugh Jackson, who the Browns head coach, he filled a quota with a person they didn't care about because it didn't matter because the intent to win wasn't there. No other team is going to keep a coach that long in the NFL with such a bad record if there is a plan behind closed doors. So, right there's another perspective of it.
Because I'm sorry, coach. Because they know, they say, listen, okay, you know what? Let's put them up. Let's get them. Now, here's where it would have went wrong if the Browns had won.
Started winning. Yep.
If the Browns had started winning, then the plan would have been different. Because Hugh Jackson hasn't coached ever since, has he?
No.
You get one shot, bro.
You're right, but
As a minority, you get a particular minority. And I'll just leave it at that because you always got to see, even me saying that, I'm being mindful. I'm being mindful of my life.
Right.
Versus what is real. This is real, right? But I gotta be mindful of my speech, because somebody could say, well, why? Oh, you know what? Jason just cares about this, and that. Because that's how it is to minimize me, to mute my voice, because what I'm speaking is real. So I'll say a particular minority. You leave it up to you to kind of figure out and ascertain.
And that's why I think, going back to what you said, Randy, Byron Leftwich was the, you know, he was, everybody saying, oh, he's got Jacksonville like locked up. But then he takes himself out of that, because I think he doesn't want to go into a situation. One, he said, I don't want to play for that general manager. But two, I don't want to go into a losing situation.
And he knew this.
Because this is my shot.
Right.
So let me hold out until I know, oh, that's a better job. That's a better job.
I mean, and honestly, in a situation in Tampa Bay, I mean, if it goes the way it should go, he should be next in line to take over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
which will be a good team. So he'll actually have a legit shot at it.
Right. You know, and I mean, you think about it, because and he knows the organization's mentality. It's because he was there as a as a player. So he knows what's going on behind the scenes. Like Phil, just to follow up on, he said, the front office, they had that guy in place to look good on the forefront, but behind the scenes, they never were drafting properly. They're never putting a winning product out there. And then, okay, well, eventually we can make him the fall guy, but we had him here for 6 years, give him a great opportunity, or however many seasons it was.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I just think that, you got to balance that. And I've had that recently in the last 2 weeks, right? Last 2 weeks, I've been really struggling with that. And I've been really struggling, and this is being honest. I've been struggling with the fact that because I am a minority and my family's livelihood depends on me, I have to be careful with what I say, but I'm tired of holding it in.
Right.
See, because I don't have privilege. See, my privilege can get me like Aaron Rodgers. I can say some shit, and then I can apologize, and then I'm still revered or looked at a certain way, right? And still can advance. Okay, Aaron Rodgers is not going to be for Green Bay. It's going to be somewhere where he'll be able to be picked up, still make his millions, and still be put up on this pedestal. Not saying that he's not good, because he's extremely good. Okay, but I'm good too, and I know I'm good. But if I say certain things, I'm done. So I actually asked myself, well, damn. That's all part of the plan, to suppress my voice. I can't say what I want to say, but certain people get to say what they want to say. That don't seem fair. It don't seem equal. It just don't. And it's frustrating. And I can only imagine I'm on a minuscule level as far as my income, my earning potential, whatever. Imagine those up here and what they got to do. That's what I'm saying.
Coach?
No, I mean, that's it. Like, I mean, we still got a long
way to go. Right. He held that long, right?
It is. And,
and every time we think we're making steps, and just like anything else, you fight. Eventually, you're gonna get punched in your mouth.
Right.
You just gotta keep fighting. That's all. That's all it is.
And look, I mean, and that's why I love these conversations, because it is challenging. And obviously, coming from the perspective, at the end of the day, being the white guy, I've shared the views of it, and we know it, and I know it,
right.
And so it's, there's absolutely a long road to go, and look, it's either you're part of the answer or part of the problem, whether, no matter, what your background is or whatnot. So, that's a decision you make every day. And that's where,
I just think it just has to matter to see. The thing about it is, and it's with anything. So I can't blame others. It's just, it has to matter to you. Like, if something it matters to me, honestly, because it directly affects me.
For sure.
Now, if it didn't directly affect me, that may be different.
No, it doesn't. I mean, like
it may be. I'm serious, and that's the truth. It may be different. So that's when I look at it from another angle, where maybe others don't necessarily give so much credence to it, is because it doesn't affect them. They don't understand it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's not, and it's interesting. Like I've said before, like, and I love having the conversations about this with all different dynamics. Like I'll have the Brian Flores situation came up, of course, in a group of friends, we're all white guys, and then I talk with you guys, I talk with guys at work, and it's very, like you said, the perspectives are if it impacts you. And,
and when you say that is because we already know that when you've had that conversation with your group of white guys, it's a different perspective.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
It is,
Right. Because they're not affected by it.
Right. And it is, it's said, it's not, and it's like you said, it's always, like Phil said too, it is, well, I have black friends, that mentality, it's this or that, or they bring up the idea that, this guy was put into an assistant coach position, or this guy was was signed in the front office. So it is. There is always, depending on the dynamics that you're talking about, if it impacts you, whether or not, you get the response you're looking for.
Yeah, and you're right. You're right. And
not the same response you're looking for, but the responses that you receive. Because,
I got you.
Yeah.
I did. I did. Was like,
no, because when I said that, I was like, that is not what I. Let me.
Don't slip.
Let me backstep.
That's
let
right.
Me backstep.
Don't slip.
Let me backstep. Let me backstep. But I mean, that's why I said, hold on. Let me go back and change that. But like I said, it is. It's a very different conversation. And it's funny because it's not with uneducated guys either.
I see. I beg to differ.
Well, uneducated and
Educated in different.
I was gonna say uneducated in the that they're not
They have school education.
right.
Right.
But like I said, in the education world, Max over here cracking up. I see all the emojis.
Right.
So, but you're right. It's but these guys, I know they don't choose to educate themselves in this. So.
Yeah. I'll say that's to be fair. I don't know. I listen. You know what? It's almost back, and I'm not trying to get political or whatever, but you have some people that might think a certain way, right? And you have others that think a certain way, right? I'm at an age now where we can always respectfully agree to disagree, right? On certain things. I think you guys should be rooting for the Devils. You feel like, no, I'm a Flyers guy, I'm Philly. So we always going to respectfully disagree. But when it comes to fundamentals,
Right.
and if I ever know that, let's say somebody around me is rooting for some other shit that's directly insultive or fundamentally different than me, then we can respectfully disagree, but I can't have you around me.
Well, it's just like what Coach Allen said. I'm not compromising my morals of my
Right.
program for
Right.
a kid.
Right.
I'm not compromising my morals of my being
Right.
for anyone.
For anybody.
So
Right.
it doesn't mean we got to fight or
No.
it just means, all right, cool, I got you. You just go over
You
there.
go over
I'll
there, right? And we're good. We're good.
It's fine.
It's all love.
It's just like me saying, when I was picking up my daughter and those guys behind me.
Okay.
Oh,
I got
okay,
you.
that's fine.
I got you now.
I got it. I'll still say hello. I'll
Yeah,
still,
it's all
whatever.
good.
But it's cool.
Yeah.
We're not gonna have a beer together.
I understand where we're at.
We track and adjust.
Mhm.
We track and adjust.
So.
And I think that's just beautiful. Yeah, that's it right there, Coach. Yep, track and adjust. And I'm like, nope. So I mean, it's sad. Shout out Brian Flores for bringing it to light. Shout out to anybody else that's ever brought it to light, capping everything. But really, shout out to those who can.
Right.
And that's where I think that amongst minorities, we become divided because some minorities think, oh, you should shed light, you should, but that's easy to say when you ain't doing that.
Right.
Now, you ain't got no kids, you ain't got no family. That's easy for you to say. So I understand that. But you ain't shed no light either, though. So, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But so shout out to those that want to say something, but can't.
Right.
Because their livelihood depends on it.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I was having a conversation with my man, and my man's a good dude. He's a really good dude. You know what I'm saying? But, sometimes when you're young, you know what I'm saying? You're trying to figure it all out. He's a really good dude. But I always compare it to, there was one time I was working at Wawa, right? And we were I had to dump the trash with a client that I was working with. And white guy, saw me with the can. I'm pushing the car. He says, here you go. And threw his cup of coffee in the trash with no lid on and halfway full. And it splashed all over me. And I'm like, Jason was probably 6 months. And I said, Middletown Wawa. I said, this is some bullshit. I had to shut my mouth.
Had to make a decision.
I had to make a decision. In the moment, though, it was Jim, was assistant manager. He was 18. Okay. And shout out, Jim, if you're listening. I don't know if you are, but this is true. He said it was 18. He was 18. And his girlfriend was there too. And they got upset with me because they said, we want you to go empty the trash at the gas stations after you come inside and sweep and mop and all that. And I said, respectfully, we're going to dump them trash now because it's like 30 degrees now and it's 4 o'clock.
Right.
So when it's 6 o'clock, it's going to be like 15 and it's cold. And she got upset. And later on, she went like this. She said, because one of the trash receptacles was flying open. You know, why still have the trash receptacles built into the pump?
Yeah.
They still do, right? Mm. So it was open, the door open. She goes like this. Hey, the door's open outside. Can you go get it? Hey. I said, and just went and got it. Mm-hmm. Because a decision had to be made. Right. So shout out to all those out there that have to make a decision. And shout out to those minorities to think that those minorities are being soft. In fact, they're being strong.
For sure. 100%.
Yeah, 100%. I think the toughest thing is to just keep your mouth shut.
You just made me laugh, man. He said 90%? No, 100%. What changed in that 1 second from the 90?
No, he said 100.
Oh, he said 90%.
Listen, I already had one.
I like messing with Randy. That's my guy, though. Listen, that's my guy. I want to make sure that's clear.
You know what's
that's
funny?
my friend.
You know what's funny? And look, it is funny. And look,
Mac remember those conversations we used to have at the Charlie Browns, man. Like, I miss Charlie Browns too. You know what I mean?
I don't.
I love Charlie Browns.
Well, you know what I do? You know what? You know what was nice?
Salad bar.
Yes, and then they gave you one to go.
That's right.
Oh yeah,
because we had to hook up.
Listen, I would go right to the meat section, right, and I would just fill that second container.
That's right.
With all meat.
That's right. I forget her. Pause. But I forget who the girl was that I had that hookup with. Man.
Oh yeah.
We had the hookup.
Yeah.
You know
yes.
I mean, I think we was paying we had salad bars, everything.
Listen, Mac, Charlie Brown's is closed.
I know. I would be like, listen, can I get a sample of the French onion soup, but put it in a big bowl so I can and a Sprite water or something like that.
A Sprite water, yes.
Something.
Oh yeah, I remember. And she enjoyed when you came in.
That's what I'm saying.
I think we went on Wednesdays.
Yeah, Wednesday. It was always hooked up.
Wednesday was half price.
Oh, you know what? Her name was T. I remember her name being T or whatever, but she was cool. Shout out T if she listened.
Yeah, I'm sure T
or if T's boyfriend's listening. You know that she looked at. She's a great girl, man.
Listen, she was just Mac over here, hella samples. It's true.
That's right.
It was, and those containers were getting.
Oh man,
we tested the weight limits of those containers.
Oh man, we was doing.
We did. I used to bring a rubber band to put around it so that the lid would close.
Yes,
absolutely.
Good
Absolutely.
time,
oh man. Well, listen, before we get into wrapping up the show, I just want to talk a little bit about the Sixers. Obviously, and the most recent rumors again. James Harden talk. Thursday is the trade deadline. Do you think a deal gets done? And do you think that do you want the deal to be done? And I know these are different perspectives. So, Coach, I'm gonna throw this to you first.
I don't think a deal gets done. And I do want a deal to get done. I think the situation we're in with Harden right now, where the Nets are willing to deal him, I think he's at his lowest value as well.
Yeah.
So I think now if you're gonna do it, I think now's the time to do it. a lot of people are saying, "Well, we can just wait for the offseason to sign him," which is true. But then you still have the Simmons problem. Like you can't. You still got to move Simmons before you can sign him, just salary cap wise. So I don't think it gets done. I think there's too many moving parts. I think there's too many unknowns. I think the deal I saw that blew my mind, and it was from somebody respectable, so it was like legit. It was Simmons and Danny Green for Harden, Joe Harris, Bruce Brown, and Javon Carter or something like that. And I'm like,
I loved it. Yeah.
listen,
I'll take that.
I'll take that in two.
Yeah.
Like that's great. Like, and I know most Philly people don't like Danny Green. I like Danny Green. I think he'd be good in the playoffs, but I'm fine, moving on from all that just to get.
If he makes it to the playoffs, because he's always. Well, I guess with the first year was he hurt? Well, last year was his first year.
Yeah.
Oh, he was hurt.
Well, just to follow up, did you guys read that? Now Green has his own podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he had made a comment the other day about Ben Simmons on his podcast. Can you clarify that? Because I don't know. I saw it briefly, but what was it that he was saying?
I mean, I listen to his podcast pretty regularly, and he's pretty real about things and how he says that. I don't know what point you're referring to. He talks about how they haven't seen him in a while. He comes around every once in a while. He said that.
I thought he said they want him back. They miss him.
He's very if he wants to come back, he's always welcome to come back. That kind of thing. He always says stuff like that. I'm not sure exactly what part you're talking about.
I like Danny Green from he's a New Yorker. He's from Long Island. I don't like him on the Sixers though. Actually, let me say this. I like him if he's on the bench. He's come off the bench. I don't like him starting.
No.
That's the thing. That's my only thing with him. But what's interesting, what's going on in Utah. See, and I don't know if you can get Donovan Mitchell.
No.
Right. But if you were able to,
Yeah.
that would be championship.
Oh,
Okay.
fantastic.
You know what I'm saying? So who in Utah, who would they get rid of? Gobert or
They're
Mitchell?
talking about Gobert. I don't think you can get rid of Mitchell. If
Okay.
you're Utah.
No, because that's just telling your franchise we don't care.
Yeah, we don't care.
Right. We don't care. So then now you I'm hearing the Bradley Beal thing again.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
I personally don't think any major deal gets done before.
I don't like the Harden, and maybe it's because of how I'm seeing. Is his hamstring really bothering him, or is he like in pouty mode?
I think he's in pouty mode.
I think he's in pouty mode, and that ultimately scares me because that's Ben Simmons, just an older version. Like, I agree with do you guys agree with what Shaq said about him?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
And then Ben Simmons DM'd him and he was like, no.
Right. But then Shaq was like, yo, listen, he didn't, you could tell, even though Ben Simmons DM'd him, he didn't get disrespectful.
No.
Okay. Because you're not getting disrespectful with Shaq.
No. But Shaq
Okay.
probably would show up at his house.
But Shaq still held his ground and said,
Right.
You're leaving your brother out there. At the end of the day, that's what you're doing. And you're getting $40 million.
Yep.
Like it's just a sad situation. I just think he has to go anyway. I just think he has to go. I don't think you trade anything. I think you finished the year. I don't think this is a championship year. I agree with people who say that the window's closing. Hasn't closed yet. Okay, but I don't think this is the year. I don't think so. I think you can still get back to the Eastern Conference semifinals, possibly the finals.
And
depending on how you play.
I know we talk about guys you don't want to trade. Like, we talk about Maxey. Maxey just stepped up.
Untradeable.
Untradeable. Now he's untradeable.
I've always said he was untradeable.
Is he? What about Dick?
Other people are saying it too.
Untradeable.
Oh, okay.
And listen, the Sixers are saying he's untradeable. They're not
They're
including
saying
him.
they're not going to trade him. It doesn't mean he's untradeable.
Okay, I mean that's fair.
All right.
They're not including him or Thibault, and I wouldn't either.
I would. Those are two. Yeah,
Those are the two.
And that's my thing. Like, people talk about, Thibault. I had this argument the other day with a guy who was saying, Thibault, and I said no. I said every championship team needs a lockdown defender like that.
And that's part of me.
And the value is like I made the reference. I think it's you guys to Bruce Bowen on the Spurs.
I think Thibault can start. Is he starting? Matter of fact, I think he's starting, right? Sometimes
He has
right.
been.
So I like him at the 3. I'm okay with him. You got Tobias at the 4, then you got Embiid at the 5. You got Maxey as. So I actually like the team, but Thibault, if Thibault takes a leap
Offensively, yeah.
offensively,
Yes.
then I don't know if you need anything else. Do you?
You still can't score at the end of games.
That's true.
And I mean, that was the other night.
And
The
that's
other
why
night,
that's the only reason why
You need a bucket maker.
and they lost like home the other night. Where it was like, okay, Embiid ended up being out. By the 3-point line, trying to drive through because they had no option but to try to make that move.
But that was more Tobias though. Tobias,
And Tobias is playing better.
He has.
right. But that was an indecisive, dumb move. You know what I'm saying?
He has. I will say, I don't think a major move gets done. I don't think, and I don't think a major move really, I don't know in the NBA, but speaking of, I mean, I know we don't, too much about the All-Stars. I did read earlier. Who do you think the biggest All-Star snub was?
I didn't think there was a huge snub this year.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think with all the injuries and all that, I don't think there was a guy that was just like, how did he not make it? Like, I didn't see that this
You
year.
had a banana the whole time, and you made the banana in the tail fresh reference, and you just put the whole. I was going to say, no, I kind of agree with you, Coach. I mean, here's the it's interesting. We talk about, and we brought it up last time. Like, I do enjoy the NBA All-Star Game. I love the Rising Stars competition. I think the NBA has the best All-Star. Have the best All-Star in general.
Well, I mean, to me, it's what I care about. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Well,
I think it's because the game itself can be turned up and down.
Yeah.
right.
Do you know what I mean? So like you can let somebody just go get a crazy dunk.
Yeah.
Like in baseball, like the only way you can really so I can let you be great without making myself look bad.
Right.
Whereas in baseball, for example, the only way I can let you hit a home run is if I throw it.
Yeah,
Now I look bad.
I got to give you a fastball
You know what I
down
mean?
the middle and make you
Or
look bad.
in hockey, now the goalie's going to have to look
Right.
bad or something like that. So it's the only game that can kind of,
Yeah.
in NFL, like
But I also think, I mean, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. But I also think that in addition to that, it's the other things that make it great, as far as like the slam dunk,
Yes.
the 3-point, like the home run derby. It's cool.
yeah.
Played out.
But after a while, it's like,
And
To
you
me,
don't even know some of the guys.
I don't even know some of the
And
guys.
even as a judge,
It's underhanded pitching.
well, not underhanded.
I mean,
It's not underhanded.
it's
It's VP.
I'm saying, but it's like, okay, everybody can hit a home run. Oh, look at that shot there. Oh, 500. You know what I'm saying?
You're not wrong though, because I do enjoy home run derby, but it is boring now. Also, Big, you said it's not the same pizzazz. I just remember when Ken Griffey Jr. came out back in the day, and he made baseball cool because he came up. He turned his hat backwards, and he started rocking balls out. And it didn't matter if you were a baseball fan or not. You were like, this is some cool.
But it was in the first infancy of the home run
Right.
derby.
It was early. It was
early on, and it was because baseball, it was always like, oh, the home run is like wow, right? Like the wow,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So then when
That's why they used the
Canseco,
baseball.
and McGuire, when that whole thing was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's around the same time the home run derby came out around that time, right?
Yeah.
That's maybe a little bit before
that. I think
whatever,
it was
but-
like 90. It was early 90s.
Early 90s, like 94, 90, somewhere around there. So I'm like, okay, that was cool.
You're right. It might be right after the strike in 94.
I think that now it's like when I watch it, it's like
It is. It is.
You can't compare the home run derby to you couldn't even compare it to the 3-point shooting contest because that is just your pure skill.
Oh, 1985, actually.
Oh wow, okay. But that's your pure skill in the moment.
Right.
Like it's not nobody's like making the basket bigger or nobody here, it's you still have to have your form and whereas your home run, they're just
And I think, and it's just the problem with baseball in general. And no offense, Randy.
It's okay. It's a boring game.
It's a slow game. So
Boring
even
game.
the home run derby's slow.
slow.
Whereas
I get bored.
the 3-point contest, you got 1 minute.
That's right.
Go.
Yeah, it's go.
And the
Yeah.
clock's winding down,
Right.
and these guys you're trying to
Skill.
get, so it's fast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it's but I do think, like you said, Coach, with the NBA, like for the first 3 quarters, they'll just do what, and then
They
they'll
tighten
lock
up.
it down,
Yeah,
and then
tighten up.
and you enjoy that. You're like, you got the top defender on the
Now
top
you're seeing
scorer,
the best
and you're
of the
like,
best.
this is
Right.
this is awesome.
Right.
So we'll see. Do you think any, real quick, do you think any major trades in the NBA at all happen? Any major players?
I mean, there's going to be some guys that move. I don't think it's anybody that shakes things up like that turns a team into a champion or anything like that. But I mean, I think there'll be some guys that I'm sure Houston's going to try to get rid of, like an Eric Gordon, something like that. But nothing major. I think it's going to be interesting what the Lakers try to do.
You know what? Yeah, I was talking to a diehard Lakers fan yesterday because he was sitting there at work, and I saw him. He's streaming the Knicks and Lakers game, and I was like, man, like, you're diehard. He was like, oh yeah, love my Lakers. Yeah. So
Listen, they're gonna be there.
Yeah, they look better. They still don't look. No.
But they're gonna be there though.
So we'll see. So, well, with that said, let's get into our final thoughts for the day. I know, like I said, we are off here today on the football docket pretty much, except for the Pro Bowl, which may be the worst of all the All-Star games. I don't even think they should have a Pro Bowl.
Agreed.
But Coach, what are your final thoughts for today?
Excuse me. Just like you said, trade deadline on Thursday. That's always fun time. See if anything major happens, and I'm sure we'll see some Simmons news and to keep us interested. But other than that, man, just still NBA's getting into the All-Star break, and it's kind of winding down the season. Teams are kind of starting to figure out where they are, and the East is kind of crazy. So it's see how the Sixers can hold up, and other than that, just another week and back at it.
Back and grinding. I know you got the game today, 4:00.
Yes, sir.
So good luck with that.
Thank you.
Good luck with that. What's the weeks look like for the team after this?
So we play today, we play Tuesday, we play Wednesday, we play Saturday at Paula Six in their showcase. So
okay.
3 games this week. Well, 4 games count today.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
And so, Jake, how about yourself?
Yeah, I tell you, see, my final point is that, hey, listen, excited to do some games. Let me just stay with that. Excited to do some public announcements, excited to be over there and announce these games and just have a good day today. You know what I'm saying? But definitely want to just keep encouraging all those that are out there. Like I said, with whose voices are limited due to their circumstances, like that's kind of where I'm at, because I'm reading some nonsense now, as I multitask with the show and then on Facebook, and I'm just like, you just want to say something, it's like, yeah. You can't, you know what I'm saying? So, I think that's where faith and all that stuff comes in. So, shout out to all those out there that have to be silent just to take care of their families, you know what I mean? And everybody's silent to a point where they feel like, yo, I don't have to be silent no more. Then you can speak, you know what I'm saying? So, shout out to all those out there. Just looking for a great end of the weekend, long week ahead. Hopefully it's starting to get a little warmer. I don't want to see no more snow. Excited to announce. I love announcing my Pensgrove team, but I haven't been able to because of, my son playing and stuff like that. So I get to announce them Wednesday. So I'm happy about that. Hopefully it's the Rudy Barrett night. That our gym down there in Pensgrove is named after Rudy Barrett. And didn't realize that Rudy Barrett was like a star in West Virginia. He used to get busy, you know what I'm saying? So just a little history or whatever for some Pensgrove history. But so excited about that. Excited about the Pensgrove girls. I get to announce them, I think Tuesday maybe, because I don't think Eastern has a game. So I get to do some stuff for the home team. You know what I mean? Those girls are playing well. The boys lost last night, but hey, listen, man, they're great kids, man. And we're rebuilding. Shout out Coach Ware and Kyle Goodson and all the whole community out there, man. They're encouraging young men. You know what I'm saying? So and I know you saw Killer Cam Bailey, Cam Bailey. You know what I mean?
I haven't seen Cam in so long. It was good to see him.
Yeah, man. So I look forward to that though.
Absolutely. So just to follow up on what you said, it is supposed to be a warmer week.
It's good.
Good. Warmer week.
All right, get the car wash finally.
Yeah. That's so frustrating. I did that yesterday because I did the oil change car wash combination. And
still trying to say that little money, boy.
No, man, it went up $6. Listen, I've been going to the same spot, Route 41 car wash in Cherry Hill.
Okay.
For years.
Is that the one by the what's that road I take to get to
Kings Highway?
Yeah, what's that?
Right there, across from the
road though? What's the road? What's the street where the Burger King is at? The Burger King and
you talking about Race Road?
Brace Road.
Brace
Brace Road,
Road.
yeah.
Is that the one right over there?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Farther down.
In the
That's
back
it.
though, right? Towards it's down 561 though, right? He's talking about Route 41.
No, this is right
Oh,
off
you
Kings Highway.
go Kings Highway by the Clodobo or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, over there. Oh, you
Yeah.
go over there.
I've been going there since I
Oh,
was
okay.
17.
Really?
And I was there yesterday, and then and then I went online. It was always the coupon.
Okay.
No coupon anymore.
Oh, do they know you over there?
Well, no, because they're disrespectful.
They
But that's-
change owners or
you know.
disrespect?
But
Oh.
I mean, at the end of the day, they get the job done. But I'm telling you, it's just, and she was like, everything's going up, and I was like, I know, just do what you got to do.
Yo, come to that car wash over here, man.
Oh, okay.
That's where all the stars go.
Oh, yeah.
I think Maxie go over there. I saw. I don't know if he's a star or whatever. Justin Anderson. He had a Bentley like a mile. I'll tell you that.
Which one? Which one?
Right there. I don't want to be racist, whatever. But I think his name is Mr. Lee. You know what I'm saying? The Chinese one right there by the by Cap and them. Cap and your
Cap and Cats?
No, Cap and
Crunch?
and Raj. By Action Transmission across the street from
Oh,
Right there.
by like that Goodwill and all that. On White Horse Pike.
no, bro, right here on Burnt Mill. Right across the street, like from Sweet Eats.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
Right behind the Domino's. Right
oh,
there.
right there.
Yeah,
Right
okay.
there,
right
right
there,
there.
right there.
Shout out
Yeah,
Stevie.
they go there. Like all them stars. Yo, you go if you ever go in there, you go see all the pictures that he took in there, the jersey sign, everything, man.
Oh, I've
Tough stuff, man. What's
But-
his name? Markel Fultz went there.
Oh.
I heard that's where he lost his jump shot. I
Oh
don't know.
man. Oh man. I mean, but the thing, like you said, but just as annoying, I had to get the oil change done, and then you leave, and you're like, oh, I know the salt's gonna be right on the car
You hear
afterwards.
the salt hitting.
You know.
Yeah.
So-
How much do you pay for that special? Let me see. How much is it?
Well, it was.
If it's a secret, it looked like it might have been a secret.
No. It was. Yesterday was $34.
Okay, but you getting a basic wash. You ain't getting no.
Well, you get inside,
Wow.
outside.
But you ain't getting no Armor All, no wax, no nothing. It's shit coming out ashy.
You know, now you're disrespecting my wife. I appreciate that.
No, I'm sorry. I apologize. Yo, listen, did they put Armor All on the tires?
No.
Oh, damn.
This is
Damn,
just
you
the
deserve
normal. They run it through. They vacuum it for you. It gets the basic job done.
Oh, no shine. You don't want no shine, nothing to it.
Oh no, I don't want
I
to
got
shine.
you.
I don't
I
need to
got
shine. Listen, the driver's sheet is shining.
I got you.
I'm just
I got
saying.
you, brother.
So-
I got you.
Well, listen. With that said, we another great show. Listen, shout out to Coach Gene Allen from Atlantic City Boys Basketball.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coach joined us in the beginning of this show, and just for a phenomenal interview. If you go get a chance to do it, go back and watch that. It was an education and it was entertainment, and definitely going to have Coach back on again. As usual, like I said, you'll appreciate everyone watching us. I know next week we're going to be, hopefully back on with a little Super Bowl special. We got former football player Albert Young's going to be joining us. Yeah.
Oh, that's what's
Yeah, he played at Morristown High School,
Okay.
Iowa, and he played with the Minnesota Vikings. So he's going to be joining us on the show next Sunday. So definitely going to want to check that out. And once again, for Jason Bryce from Marcus Bullock, check us out on Facebook, continuing to help us grow, and like, follow, comment, and we appreciate you guys watching. And take it easy. We'll catch you next time.
I heard that he flipped out with shout out to rap. Because I ain't think he'll respect the guy. That's did everyone I do. So it didn't come after an agent.